Recently, I acquired my 100th Platinum Trophy after I got my first nearly 9 years ago, all the way back in 2016 when the world was bottle flipping, mourning the death of a gorilla, and Pokemon Go came out and stole almost everyone's time. But over the last 9 years, I've been spending my time while gaming, grinding out Platinum Trophies. And finally, after reaching the elusive number 100, there will be some people who just won't and will never want to get anywhere near that number. And then there are some people that look at my meager 100 and laugh, as they got 100 in 1 week by multi-stacking slop off the PlayStation Store. But to me, my 100 Platinums have been a journey over the past 9 years, a journey unique to me, and today I thought I would go over the highlights from my favourite plats and my worst, some tips and tricks, and why I haven't got bored and burnt out from it. Would I recommend anyone else to be a trophy hunter? As sometimes it isn't always joy and satisfaction, but actually frustration and unsatisfying, in different ways than you might be thinking. So where did it start for me? What was the first game I decided to be my first Platinum and why? Did I even decide to start going for Platinum trophies in the first place? Well, as primarily a Nintendo kid, I jumped into the achievement/trophy bandwagon later than most, as the only source of achievement that a Nintendo console will give you is telling you that you lost £2 and you're no longer morbidly obese on the Wii Fit. So when my friend gifted me her old PS3 back in 2014, I was introduced to trophies, and my initial reaction was, It was a miracle if I even finished a game when I was 14, let alone go for all the trophies. It was only a handful of years later, being a broke teenager, I was using the little money I had to get as many cheap games as I possibly could, mainly games that were critically acclaimed I wasn't able to play. And the first game that grabbed me enough that made me want to do everything and go for the Platinum was none other than the legendary Assassin's Creed 2. A game that doesn't need any introduction, but this was the game that sent me down this 9-year rabbit hole that's both enriched and enraged my gaming experiences. But what was it about Assassin's Creed 2 that made me go for everything? Well, apart from the fact I loved the game, but looking at the trophy list, it's very basic, but not completely mindless. And that mixed with a game that I genuinely loved my time with, gave me that push to do everything. And it was fun. Even grabbing all of Mercutio's feathers was enjoyable, despite the tedium, as Assassin's Creed 2 was truly a brilliant experience. But after that, something changed. The satisfaction and enjoyment I got from getting my first Platinum, that feeling was something that I craved so literally straight after I got my second. This one was a game that I had also heard great things about, and that was the first Jak and Daxter. Like I said before, I mainly grew up with Nintendo, but I did have a PS2. But my parents were the ones who were getting me games, so I mainly played licensed slop from whatever cartoon I was into at the time. So that means I missed out on Jak and Daxter, Sly, and Ratchet. So now I wanted to make amends by giving the first Jak and Daxter a go, and lucky for me, it also had a relatively easy trophy list. I was killing 2 birds with 1 stone, 2 Platinum trophies acquired, and that feeling of satisfaction was there, and it was rather intoxicating. But I was also 16, and with school, my first part-time job, and the first time in my teenage life, a blooming social life. It wasn't always going to be grabbing one after the other, despite me wanting to get as many as possible. And that leads me to a tip for anyone who wants to start trophy hunting. And it seems like a pretty simple one, but I think it's important nonetheless. And that's that you don't need to platinum everything you play. Sometimes you just don't have the time, skill, or patience for it right now, and that's okay. This is something that really bothered me a couple of years back, despite me never having this problem when I was younger. But as I've got older and time has become tighter and tighter, it's just better to accept that you won't complete everything, but it won't stop you enjoying the games that you do play. But despite the fact that time was becoming tighter and tighter as I got older, with more responsibilities on my plate, I was still able to grab Platinum trophies here and there, ones that stand out being Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and Marvel Spider-Man, and My Name is Mayo. And the only reason this one stands out as this is infamous amongst the trophy hunting community for being an extremely simple Platinum and everything that takes away the joy from trophy hunting. Although they seem tempting at first, as My Name is Mayo is an extremely easy Platinum, like really easy, like tap a single button for 40 minutes and bam, you have your Platinum trophy. And it's not like that Platinum trophy is worth any less than any other, but it's then a permanent stain on your account, because this isn't a true representation of what getting a Platinum trophy should be. Yeah, there's probably plenty of people out there who are satisfied just to stack the trophy after trophy and getting that serotonin release, but in reality, you stop playing games for the games itself, and in short term, that might be fine, but if you really care about gaming, these platinums become a hollow experience, and that's something I felt straight away after platinum in the game. And since then, my mindset on platinum trophies changed. Instead of just grabbing mindless, lifeless slop that gives me the serotonin boost, I want to platinum games I want to play, not just for the trophies, but the experience as well. So with this, I decided that I only wanted to platinum games I actually wanted to, and to landmark every landmark number with a game that meant something to me, and I decided that game would be Kingdom Hearts 2. And as we go through the rest of my trophy list, you will begin to notice a pattern that I quite like this silly series with its big-footed anime boy with two of Disney's most iconic characters. And the first one I decided to platinum was the second game, which seems like a weird place to start, but for me, Kingdom Hearts 2 is not only my favourite in the series, but also one of my favourite games of all time. This game transcends the medium for me in how strongly I feel towards it, and to this day, is probably my favourite platinum trophy I have gotten. And yes, a lot of the love comes from the fact I love the game itself, but this was an instance where the trophy list for a game I already love and made me love it even more. The trophy list itself is pretty by the numbers: trophy after you finish each world, trophy for key story moments, and the occasional miscellaneous trophy. And then there's the dreaded grind trophies, the one that wants you to experience everything the game has to offer. But as someone who has played the game before, but not done everything, the trophies made me experience parts of the game I hadn't experienced before, and like I said, this made me respect the game even more, and love it even more than I did before. And the trophy that made me love the game and change the way I approach all games I play was simply just beat the game on critical mode, which is Kingdom Hearts 2's hardest difficulty setting. But critical isn't the same as a regular hard mode that you get in any other character action game. Critical is rather unique as far as I know, as it does what other character action games do by making the enemies hit you harder and you have less health overall. It changes so that instead of making enemies be able to take more hits and become bullet sponges, in critical mode you do more damage and you are given extra benefits when you start the game to give you a fighting chance, because the early game is absolutely brutal. But once I got my bearings, it became one of the most rewarding and fun experiences that I've had with a game. And I decided that I wanted to do everything in this difficulty. My initial plan was to slog my way through the game on critical and then replay the game on standard. Because I enjoyed it so much, I decided to do everything on critical, including the game's extremely difficult endgame super bosses. But despite the eye-watering difficulty, I'm looking at you, Terra, I will never forgive you. I was able to do it, and I loved every moment of it. And before, when I looked at a trophy list and see the trophy beat the game in the hard mode, I'd be instantly turned off, as I didn't believe I had the skill or patience. But doing this changed that, making me a lot more open to trying any game on its hardest difficulty. But this is where, unfortunately, a double-edged sword comes into play with getting the platinum trophy in your favourite games. But to be honest, this very much might be a me problem, but I thought I would tell you in case I'm not alone on this. But despite me loving Kingdom Hearts 2 with all my heart, I last played it in 2018, 7 years ago. But why, if I love the game so much, how come you haven't replayed it? Well, this might sound crazy, as we're talking about collecting useless digital JPEGs, but since my backlog is so unbelievably long, I feel like if I'm replaying a game, I'm wasting time, as I've already got all the trophies, so there's nothing I'm not achieving. I know what you're thinking is crazy, right? Having no more trophies to earn shouldn't stop me from playing a game, but it does, and that's how becoming a trophy hunter has changed how I play games, and it's not for the better. But going back to the positives of what becoming a trophy hunter has done for me, it's also made me go and play games that I may never have played otherwise, or not the extent that I would have otherwise. And the game that immediately comes to mind for me is Astro's Playroom. That's pretty crazy to say now, as Astro is a household name and one of PlayStation's new icons. But when the PS5 launched with Astro's Playroom, a lot of people, including myself, thought that the game was essentially a glorified demo to advertise the PS5, and yeah, it kinda is. But damn, it is a damn good one, and I probably wouldn't have even played it if it wasn't for the trophy list. It's the perfect type for me. It's not too challenging, but it's also not absolutely mindless like My Name is Mayo. And doing everything this game has to offer, in my opinion, is the best way to experience it. This kind of trophy list has led me to platinum some other fantastic games, such as What Remains of Edith Finch. A wonderful story that I have only heard great things about over the years, and finally giving the game a chance after all these years was great, and again probably wouldn't have played otherwise. But that leads me onto the opposite side of the argument, as there have been times since I started trophy hunting that I've been put off from playing a game as I've been intimidated by the trophy list. Games such as Crypt the Necrodancer, a game that I've been interested in playing for a long time. It's been in my backlog staring at me, but the reason I haven't played it is holy shit, look at this, I'm never going to be able to do that. So there it has sat on my backlog waiting to be played, and that's not how it should be. And if you take anything from this, is that games and trophy hunting should be one thing and one thing only: fun. Not all the time, there's always going to be challenging times, but you should be doing it for the fun of playing games. Going back to my own personal trophy hunting journey, I ended up giving up on platinum trophies for a couple of years. I would maybe go for one if it was part of the playing process, but due to stuff in my personal life, platinum trophy hunting was put on the back burner. But in 2022, my life changes again, and there's also a certain rise in a certain type of content on YouTube, that being the platinum trophy hunters YouTubers. And for me, the one that I first took notice of was the most one people know of, being Nick AR. His content was entertaining and made me realise something that I had been missing, and that was hunting trophies. And with some free time in my personal life, I was back in the hunt, claiming 10 in the span of a year. But these weren't always brand new games. As I was actively trophy hunting again, it gave me a reason to clean up some old games I wanted to play again, and that's a trick I picked up from one of my previous problems with trophy hunting. If, like me, you love a game but feel like you can't replay it due to the lack of trophies and worried you're wasting time, well, if that's the case, don't get the platinum. Nobody has telling you have to get a game straight away all in one go. In fact, it's very common way I play some of my favourite games now. Again, I understand this might just be a me problem, but this is how my journey has gone, and if I can offer anyone else who has these issues some helpful tips or advice, then I feel like it's worth me saying. But with this refound love for trophy hunting over the last 3 years, my trophy collection has increased massively. I went from around 30 platinum trophies at the end of 2022 to now the elusive 100 I have now. And what was that number 100? That was a game I had planned to be 100 for a while, and it was a game that meant something to me, that being Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Those who know that it's the hardest game in the series to get the platinum for, and it was the last one I needed to get, as after my amazing experience of getting the platinum for Kingdom Hearts 2 all those years ago, I wanted to get the same feeling from the other games in the franchise. And I did, not to the same extent as 2, but 1 was a nostalgia-filled joyride, 3 made me think differently about the game that disappointed me most in my life, Dream Drop Distance was way more fun than you think, and Chain of Memories was... And that left me with Birth by Sleep, a game that wanted me not only to finish the game with all 3 characters, but also 100% it. It also wanted me to do it on the hardest difficulty, which honestly wasn't that bad, but it also wanted me to get the highest score on the rhythm minigame known as Ice Cream Beat, and this almost broke me. But after nearly 100 hours, I had done it, and it made me think about the question of this video. Was it time well spent, or was it a waste of time? Well, the answer, like most things in this world, is completely subjective. I went through my own journey trying to reflect on what was good on the journey and what was some bad habits I picked up because of it, and some of the experiences I had because of it. And this is my conclusion on the topic. The only time wasted was the time I wasn't doing something for the fun of the love of the games. It was the journey itself, playing some amazing games, that was the best part of this, not the artificial reward of a platinum trophy. Yeah, they're nice to get, and I still feel some sense of accomplishment if I get one, but I don't want to be held to it. I will play the games I want to play. I will platinum a game if it's worth my time, and yeah, I will get more platinum trophies, as I still enjoy the process. So to me, it wasn't a waste of time. But that's just me. Play games how you want to play them, and remember that the journey itself is probably a lot more fun than the destination. If you watched to the end, thank you. I truly appreciate it. I'm sorry for the big gaps in uploads. This proved harder to write than I thought, and it's still probably missing some things I wanted to say. And also life just got in the way. Hopefully November will be a big month with a few videos planned, so stay tuned. But once again, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again.